It's actually a 180 flip, because traditionally those stops, as you said, as management telling you their perspective and holding and blaming you almost, and, you know, blaming the worker. Whereas this is a complete flip to a learning organisation model where you tell us what we can do to make your work better. That's fantastic. Yeah. We were talking earlier about the trust of the people in the learning group, so you can really find out that work is normal or work is done. How have you gone about that and succeeding in that?
So during a learning team, when we've very intentionally started our learning teams where we don't have anyone in the official chain of command of the participants in the room. Okay, so it's an independent facilitator, an independent note taker on the board, and we do. That's the first thing that we do to allow the people to feel more comfortable to say what's really on their mind. We spend probably the first 10 or 15 minutes of the learning team taking them through just some information about what HOP is, what safety differently is, what are the principles that we're trying to work to with this, and you know, one of the key things that we impress on them is that last principle that says how we react matters, and in the learning team context, it's what it means is you as a facilitator, you need to listen without judgment. Yeah. Okay, and when they see that you're doing that, they feel free to be honest and open about what's really happening. So we spend a lot of time at the start of the learning team impressing that on the group, that they really can say whatever's on their mind. And outside the room, the individual comments aren't shared. What we do is we group the comments together into common themes, yep. And it's the themes which are then, when we invite the service centre manager back into the room for the feedback, again we coach the service centre manager to say, this is actually what your team is saying, so you need to listen without judgment as well. Yep. Because how they react matters in that context. And so in that way we feed this information back, and then when you build the actions out of those themes, the team members can actually see the stuff that they've actually had the courage to share with their site leader. They can actually start to see that translate into tangible differences on the ground.
Excellent. Is it and how have you found have the people really opened up? Are you finding most people are opening up, and what's their feedback on the process they've just been through?
So the ones that I've facilitated, I've found it normally takes about half an hour into the learning team. Half an hour to 3/4 of an hour for the penny to drop for the participants, and generally you'll have one person will have the courage to say something a little bit left field first, and then the others, and that's the whole idea of a learning team, is that stories build on stories, and then the others become more comfortable. But yeah, it's look, I've heard some things in there that have really surprised me as well, but I think it's once people are comfortable to start sharing that, as I say, you start to understand what's really affecting your people out there.
And the feedback from the workers about the learning team process, how has it been received by them?
Yeah, so one comment which came out very early on from one of the workers here in Queensland, and look, it was a worker that may have. You know, some people might have had mixed feelings about whether this person's heart was in the right place when you look at it from a traditional point of view. But I always remember the comment that came from this person when they had been taken through the HOP training, and it was to the effect that this is the best thing that this company's ever done. Yeah. Okay, it was a real revelation for this person that they actually had an opportunity to really contribute openly to make the workplace better, and as I say, that was one which really stood out to me. Yeah. So I think it's a way of some people that before you may not have had a really true insight into where this person's values were and so forth. This process is a way where that all comes to the surface, and generally what you find is that their values are no different to your values.
Yeah.
And it's just that it manifests itself in different ways through behaviours and whatnot, but when you get underneath it all, they're the same, everyone's the same, and they all want to come to work and do a great job and do a really great job for the company. Yeah.
Have you found them passionate? Is there passion in these learning teams?
Yeah, so I think you actually start to understand the passion when the stories start to build. And when you can see people starting to open up. If it was just the next thing that the company was doing or whatever, people would treat it as just the next thing, and so you wouldn't see the honesty in these sessions, and you wouldn't see the enthusiasm for sharing those stories. I've been with this company for a long time, and I've been in operations for a long time, and you can tell when people are being genuine and when people are probably paying you a bit of lip service, and the responses that I see in the learning teams, and even when you're just asking different types of questions in a normal everyday setting, you can actually see the light bulb click, and people think, okay, well they're actually really interested to understand what my experience is here. They want to take a walk in my shoes, so I'm going to take them for a walk.
Excellent. Where to next?
So this year for us is about we've done the formal training with our frontline leaders and our key influencers within our work teams. What we're doing is at this point trying to build the fluency about those HOP type questions, those questions which invite people to tell stories. We're trying to build fluency within the business to go to those questions as your default, as opposed to the traditional type questioning to the void situations. So we're expanding the use of learning teams within the business. The other thing that we're doing is trying to expand our pool of facilitators, and that's a critical thing. At the moment, it's predominantly my team and one or two others that are facilitating these teams, but that's not sustainable if you want to look at embedding this within a large organisation, because it needs to be just the day-to-day how learning is done, which means a supervisor can just pull a team together and maybe run a quick learning team with their team.
Yep.
To get to that, we need to expand the number of facilitators, and to facilitate one of these things, there's two attributes that are absolutely critical. One is the person needs a deep understanding of the HOP principles and truly believe in them. Yes. And the second one is that they need to be able to facilitate a group and keep stories going, and that's not something that everyone is comfortable with. So the position that we've taken is that not everyone is going to be a facilitator of these. What I'm really after is quality, not quantity with this.